While Roundup continues to cause cancer all over this country, Monsanto continues to make huge profits off a product that they clearly know is dangerous. If you were exposed to Roundup and then developed non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, you may be entitled to financial compensation.
As we all know, Donald Trump's tax cuts for the wealthy cut the corporate tax rate from 35% to 21%. Keep in mind that the effective tax rate, with all the loopholes and deductions that corporations get, make that percentage much less, which leads the way for companies like Amazon to pay nothing in federal taxes. Now the Trump administration has made the situation worse. They have rolled back Obama-era regulations that would prevent corporations and this country's wealthy from putting their money in offshore tax havens. So this is something that they're looking at doing. They haven't actually implemented it yet, but just keep in mind that this is the type of stuff that the Trump administration does behind the scenes. It doesn't get as much media attention. And people who voted for Trump because they were frustrated with their economic situation, they're not looking out for you. They're looking out for themselves and the wealthy. So, according to Bloomberg, the Treasury is looking at regulations intended to prevent American firms from lowering their US tax bills by shifting income to their offshore branches that they can loan to their domestic branches and deduct the interest off of their internal revenue service bills. The move would make it easier for companies to use accounting tactics to minimize their US earnings and inflate their foreign profits, which are frequently taxed at rates lower than the current 21% domestic corporate levy. So look, the whole argument that you hear from Republicans over and over again in favor of lowering federal taxes for the wealthy is that if you do that, well, then there's no need for them to put their money in these offshore tax havens. But that is not the case. Even after these massive tax cuts for the rich, there is evidence indicating that the wealthy did not repatriate their funds and bring it back to the United States. I'll get to those numbers in just a second. Cenk?
Yeah, guys, what happened to America first? So this allows corporations to outsource their profits so they avoid American taxes. And when they don't pay their taxes, guess who has to pay more taxes? Oh, you guessed it, you. That's why they've been increasing the payroll tax as a percentage of the taxes paid by all Americans, because corporations are paying less, so the average American middle-class guy working and paying into Social Security, Medicare through the payroll tax is paying more. And they're also increasing your sales tax, the fines and penalties that they give you, the parking tickets, et cetera. All that gets increased because the government needs revenue. And so they take it from you because the richest people in the country bought off all of our politicians. So like Obama, I give him credit, at the very end of his term, he instituted this rule that makes it harder for corporations to hide their money offshore. But it took him 8 years. I mean, that's classic Obama. Like, oh, the rich. And remember, the banks were the #1 donors to Obama back in 2008. And then they got a giant bank bailout. And then they hide their money for 8 years. And at the end, Obama reluctantly goes, okay, fine, stop hiding all your money, right? And Trump comes in and goes, Democrats, they don't give everything to the rich. Step aside. You left a couple of dollars on the table. I'm gonna give everything to the rich. And so that's what Trump did. You think he's for America? No, this is the most un-American thing you could do, allowing corporations to hide their money outside of America.
Exactly, so they take advantage of the opportunities in this country, but then they skirt the taxes that they should be paying through these offshore tax havens. So going back to the nonsense argument that you hear from corporatists in this country about how we need to cut tax rates for the rich so they keep their money here. Well, Donald Trump did cut the tax rates for the rich. And so what happened? Did they actually repatriate the money? Well, let's take a look at this screen grab from the Daily Beast. This was a report that they put out in September of 2018. Trump's tax law has led to repatriation of just 3% of the cash he promised it would.
Of course,
okay?
Loser.
But that's just the Daily Beast, right? Maybe it has a liberal bias, as corporatists would argue. Well, here's the Wall Street Journal, which does not in any way have a liberal bias. Trump promised a rush of repatriated cash, but company responses are modest. President Trump has said trillions of dollars would flow back to the US quickly in the wake of the new tax law, but a Wall Street Journal analysis finds many companies are taking their time.
Yeah, look, please, this is all incredibly stupid. Look, the corruption is obvious. The only reason why they get away with it is because the Democrats are meek and often participate. And the corporate media sometimes will cover it once and then let it go. But they don't have the courage to call these politicians what they are: deeply, deeply corrupt. They don't have the courage to call campaign contributions what they are: bribes. They're bribes. So this idea, so the reason why I call them stupid is, it's all part of the corruption. So it's not like the editors are stupid or the Democrats are stupid. They're all participating in the corruption. But the idea itself is so, all you would have to do is like just prick it a little bit to see how incredibly dumb it is. So they say, no, these companies are patriotic Americans. And so even though when we lower their rates in America, even though they still pay lower rates in some other countries, they will, because of their patriotism and because we did them a favor, they will now move the money back and at least pay the lower rates now in America and not hide all their money abroad. Oh, they didn't do that as patriots? Are you kidding me, man? Nobody's that stupid. They're not patriots, they're companies. They're amoral machines. They are built to maximize profit. They're not like, oh, well, it would be unpatriotic if we kept more money. I mean, more millions of dollars for me as an executive of this company, or patriotism. Which fool would believe that? And yet they all say it. Like if you watch television, you'll have Republicans and sometimes Democrats saying, no, the companies will of course do the right thing. Once we lower their taxes, they will voluntarily bring back the money and pay their taxes because they're patriotic. Anyone who talks in that language or says they're unpatriotic even doesn't understand anything. They're not patriotic or unpatriotic. They're a goddamn machine. And their job is to maximize profit. They'll never bring the money back. And you're an idiot if you actually believe that, but no one actually believes that. That's why the corruption is pervasive. Thanks for watching The Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.